Hi, this is Annabelle from CollectionDX, and today I'm bringing you a review of the newest variable action high-spec figure from Megahouse. This is the variable action high-spec Galvion Circus 1, mostly just known as Galvion from the 80s anime Galvion. So this is a figure from Megahouse. They've done a few entries in this line. Galat, I believe, was the last one, and then they had Gurenishki, or one of the versions of that robot from Code Geass. And it's an interesting figure, I'll put it that way. I don't have many Megahouse products myself, but it's kind of a niche company that makes some interesting things. So this figure kind of has a long legacy behind it. There were a couple garage kits which I believe were based on, this toy was based on, designed by T-Rex, a design company that's worked with Yamato for many years and has kind of branched off since then, working with Megahouse and Sentinel on some figures more recently. So the figure itself is hard plastic throughout and rubber wheels, molded, in color but with a lot of paint applications, which in my opinion is good and bad. If you look closely at the paint, there's areas where the paint's too thin, the paint is scraped, the paint has been touched up. You transform the figure or move some of the pieces and you can see where paint is scraping from one piece to another piece. So if the figure was molded entirely in color, it looks a little blurry here, hopefully we can focus, it'd be nicer. And it seems like a lot of toys, newer toys lately, have been moving away from paint apps, or if there are paint apps, they're higher quality than kind of what's here on this figure. Still, it looks great. If you don't go up and look really close, you don't really notice any of those flaws. The colors in the paint overall is really good. The text application here on the sides and on the chest is very good. Everything's, sharp. There isn't really any overspray or poorly masked pieces. So talk about the figure a little more. These pieces are miniaturized pieces basically to replicate perfect transformation. So there's a shield and a gun which mounts into the shield. Compared with the other versions of these you get, they're kind of comically small. You can equip them to the figure in robot mode if you want, but there are bigger ones. So these go together and mount underneath right here, essentially, to store in car mode, road attacker mode, I believe, or road fighter. I don't know. Don't lampoon me for my lack of knowledge of Galvion. It's just kind of a cool design that I've always liked and always kind of wanted a toy for. There is a prototype Takatoku, or maybe somebody else, toy from back in the day which never saw full production. And then there's a smaller figure, converter's figure. There were a few from Galvion that came over here to the United States. So doesn't really do much in car mode. Rolling rubber tires, which is nice. Looks really good. So we'll just go off and transform it into robot mode. I'm gonna skip, maybe that's the road attacker mode. It has this kind of half transformed mode, which was actually, I was told, never in the show, which is called the road attacker mode, which is replicated from some of the old model kits. This figure can do that. It's kind of like transform it halfway and change a bunch of things around a little bit. I'll do pictures for that, but I'm just gonna skip over that for the transformation since it simplifies things a little bit. So I've transformed this a couple times now. The first time, quite difficult. Instructions, really horrible. One of the worst sets of instructions I've ever come across. Half of it is for the road attacker mode, which I didn't really realize until a while in. And there's still a bunch of steps regarding the wheels and some other stuff in the instructions that honestly I have no idea what they're trying to show. But I've kind of figured out myself the best way to transform this figure. And it's not too bad. It feels a little fragile the first couple times you're doing it. But I've kind of come to realize that the figure is more durable than you think. I haven't had any issues with anything breaking. Some of the joints were really tight. They've loosened up a little bit after a few transformations. You still want to be careful. There's a few points that I'll point out that just don't seem the most robust. So to begin, the front of the car, these will become the legs, peg into this part right here. So you can split those apart and pull the legs down. They'll actually extend here. Now they can extend further, and that's for the road attacker mode, but you don't have to do that here. Also they kind of clip together at the top right here, so you have to kind of unpeg that as you pull the leg down. I actually pulled the foot out here. So pull the foot out, fold it forward, the heel comes out, and you kind of have to extend it as you swing it around. Same thing on the other side. And those actually spin, and the legs spin, and those will stay like that for now. Now this is already kind of moving on its own. This piece folds up and over the window, and that can just kind of move towards the back for now. It'll kind of have to float kind of halfway back for a while until we get the arms out. So this side's already coming out. There's another tab where this piece pegs into this back fender portion. There you go. So here, immediately you can just pull those out and they slide apart. There's a very small plastic bar in there. Actually, it may be die cast. It's hard to tell. That's one of the portions of the toy that just seems really... You don't really want to be careful with it. It's just one bar holding this whole half of the torso and arm together. So just be cautious of that. You can also take these and fold them down. Fold those up together and just leave them there for now, out of the way. You'll move them again later. So the arms have these collapsing panels on the back. Just make sure they're in as far as you can push them. And you can kind of tilt these up and pull them out a little bit. You've got to basically get these around to the side here, but with the bar and the chest, it's not that simple. So you kind of have to raise it up and spin it around, and then you can bring it up and over. Let me do some other things first. So these wheels are on this really complicated armature, and they do push in robot mode and pull out in car mode so they can touch the ground. They also transform kind of to the side like this, and that's for the road attacker form. Really kind of a pain in the butt, all this wheel nonsense, but just make sure that's back, and it should push in. I'm going to go off camera for a second. It should push in a little bit deeper. It's really hard to tell what's going on in there. It's dark and there's a couple little tabs, and that's basically maybe the most frustrating point of the toy, is all that linkage stuff in there. Now, I guess I can bring this around now. I'm just going to be careful of this fin. Yeah, okay, so I can get around that now. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then there's another joint here, which I have no idea what it's for, really. Maybe, no, I don't know what that's for. You can just ignore that. So now these parts can rotate, and let's do these sections now. So there's exhausts here on both sides that push in, like so, and there's actually panels here which pull out and are supposed to rotate like that. And what that actually lets you do is fold these portions down which become kind of the top of the shoulders, and these fins are supposed to go down in robot mode. What else we can do, you can see I kind of pulled this down a little bit to get out of the way. We can pull the head out. Now I can see there's some new paint scrapes here on the head that weren't there before. The instructions actually tell you to rotate the head 180 before pushing it in, but I found that it actually fits better this way. When in car mode, when you push this piece down, it won't actually go down all the way if you rotate the head like that. So if you just leave it facing forward, it seems to work better. Now this piece can rotate forward, and that'll actually occupy the space where the head was. You can push the two halves of the chest together, and this is actually hard to see, but this whole white piece moves down a little bit, then it'll push back into place. You can fold these flat at the same point as well, and the head just folds down. I'm going to leave the face for now. So these fold flat, and these pieces are articulated. So now we can move this piece back out of the way to the back of the figure. And we'll finish up the legs and then do the head. So the legs are pretty much done, except they fold down and in like so, and the entire chest of the figure kind of collapses down a little bit. I think that's as far as it goes. Oh yeah, and this piece on this chest slides down, and that covers that, yeah, gray in the middle. So the one thing this figure I've noticed, I wish the knees were a little bit stiffer. It's a little bit back heavy and the knees are a little bit wobbly. It's a little unfortunate, but you can live with it. The figure comes with a stand as well if you want to use that. So I'm pretty much done here in robot mode. It has like a Yamato style hand transformation. I don't have any hands on here right now, but it comes with really small, stupid looking hands that fit into the forearms, and a bunch of other hands that do not fit into the forearms that look a lot better. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, so just a little difficult to spin that out, but it came out alright. So the only thing I haven't done here is the head. Now the head has a little camera here in the back that flips up, and these portions fold down and out to the side, and there's the face. Alright, so in robot mode we've got regular one joint at the elbow, we've got swivel joint up and down, forward and back, jointed elbow, pretty well articulated hips and knees. You can pull these out further, give you more articulation. Part of the transformation to that road attacker mode as well there. And couple rotation and angle forward and back at the ankles. You can pull them out a little bit more. They're a little bit limited. The leg will kind of hit in this corner. Oh, that reminds me, there's one more thing I missed for this transformation, is there's panels here on the side of the legs that you're supposed to pull out for robot mode. Okay. So let me grab some accessories and we'll throw them on the figure. Okay, so I've got the gun and shield and some hands. I've also got all these, there's 4 pieces here which are supposed to mount under the arms into these slots. They look like they're all the same, but they're not. So what'll probably happen is I'll be stuck with 2 that don't fit. Yeah, so I can tell, oh, that one did go in. They were a little bit frustrating the last time I tried to use them. Your experience may vary. That time I either got really lucky, or maybe they are supposed to fit in any slot. I don't know. Alright, so here's the gun I was talking about before. A lot bigger. Does not transform at all. So you can stick that in his left hand and get a hand out for the other arm. Go for a open posed hand, and I'll also show you here. Here's a transformation hand, and here's a real hand. Huge difference in size there. Open palm. And there's also a gun holding hand, yes, for the left and the right side, which is cool. The shield just clips on. There's 2 little divots here on the back of the arm. It can mount to either side. Not actually sure which way this is supposed to go. And they don't show you. They show you on the box this way. Easy. Just like that. See what I mean with the knees? The figure always kind of wants to lean back Not sure I had that on all the way. Yeah, I definitely didn't. Popped on really positively that time. Elbows are a little bit stiff. So there you go. Now, I'll show you one more thing and then I'll go on to the last set of accessories. These doors open and there's little missiles that there's just other little doors in there, but their missiles are supposed to fly out. That's the other weapon. Now there's also a powered up mode, which I can't really tell you anything about it not having seen the show, but in the powered up mode the face is actually supposed to close like that, and I guess these are supposed to be like eyes. I don't know exactly, but there's fins here that fold down, basically horizontal, and there's a couple of accessories that you have to attach to the feet, and they're kind of weird. I don't really understand. They're like fins that come out of the feet. I'm not sure what they do, what the benefit is to having fins on your feet. You can actually see there's blue sections painted on, and that's supposed to be like these pieces before they come out. Alright, so that's the powered up mode. I prefer the regular mode. So overall, you know, if you want a Galvion figure, this is it. Really, it's not a bad figure. It's not, I don't know. I guess it's a typical Megahouse thing where I wish the paint quality was a bit better. I wish there was less paint, probably in more color molded detail. But the figure is actually really good. It's, you know, high quality. It's not as fragile as I kind of thought at first. It is pretty robust. It looks really good. The transformation is not too difficult. And if you want a Galvion toy or figure, unless you want to track down the T-Rex toy, which I believe was sold as a completed and a kit over the years at Wonderfest and other events, you're going to have a hard time, and it's probably going to cost you a bit of money. So, I give this toy a thumbs up if you like Galvion. If you just, as a toy, you know, it's more of a collectible figure, which a lot of stuff in the market is nowadays. But it's a great figure of the character. One last thing I didn't show off was the stand. I have it here. It's a big round disc with the Galvion series logo on it. And then there's an arm which pegs in to the base. It's supposed to peg into the base. Wow. There we go. So that's actually ratcheted at the bottom, and there's a hole right in the back of this piece here, so you can display the figure up in the air if you so please. I don't know if it's supposed to fly in this powered up mode. It kind of looks like maybe it would to me, and it's good and secure. It's not going to come off. So alright, So this has been Annabella for CollectionDX. You can head on over to CollectionDX.com and there'll be a full review with lots of pictures and words, and you guys can check it out.